The tight end position can be very fluky in fantasy football from week to week. There are some weeks where the tight end 8 doesn't even score double-digit fantasy points. There are a lot of weeks where like the tight end 10 only scores a few more points than the tight end 25. Your studs will give you bum weeks. You'll have jabronis giving you double-digit fantasy performances and being like the tight end 2. You have all kinds of craziness at the tight end position, which means you really have to strategize going into the draft, going into the season. Are you paying up for tight end, getting one of the top guys for security? You drafting a middle round guy, just hoping to get some consistency? Or are you fading the position, trying to find some values? Or are you even just streaming the matchups with the waiver wire? There are a ton of things to do with the tight end spot to help you get an edge. One player that we are looking at, and a lot of you guys love here, that you can get in double-digit rounds right now, is Dalton Kincaid, rookie tight end of the Buffalo Bills. And he is in a prime spot here with the Bills because they are explosive. They like to throw the football. He's also looking good in training camp. He looked good in mini camp. He looked good in rookie camp. He looked good in preseason. Everything's checking out here. And usually rookie tight ends don't hit for you. Very rare. But considering the situation, considering the draft capital, considering the potential opportunity, the risk-reward ratio could be massive. Considering the landscape at the tight end spot is not very juicy. And when we look at the stats here, you can see why. But before we do, you have to click that subscribe button. Give it a good click with the mouse. Tap it with your finger on your phone, whatever you got to do. Stop missing out on this information, these deep dives on these players, especially once we have to look at this for waivers, looking at these jabroni players off the waiver wire so you know who to pick up. Also for your drafts right now, we're running 2 to 3 videos a day, going deep on these players, looking at multiple running backs, wide receivers, and doing deep dives every day. Hit that button. Stop missing out. But today, Dalton Kincaid is looking good. 93 targets, second in all of college football last year, behind Michael Mayer, and was very productive. He had 3 games where he had 10 plus targets. He is targeted heavily. Very good route runner, especially for the tight end spot. He's like a big wide receiver out there. 2.41 yards per route ran. That's better than some of the top wide receivers in this draft class. 5.7 yards after the catch per reception, which is pretty good considering he's a tight end, and some of his targets were deep downfield, and he can be productive here at the NFL level because we can put him in the slot, have him run some routes, and just have him be the big slot that the Buffalo Bills want to have. Short yardage, goal line situations. When you need to pick up that first down, Dalton Kincaid can be that guy. He's already developed in the route running department. Maybe he can do a little bit better, but still, he's good to go for the NFL game. Been looking good in training camp. Been looking good in preseason. Everything's been looking solid. And when we get to the preseason games here, the stats have been looking good too. 22 routes ran and 0 pass blocking snaps. This is an indicator they want to use him as a wide receiver. And for fantasy, we want our tight ends being used as wide receivers because that's how they score fantasy points. Will he be out there in just pass blocking scenarios? That's going to be a question we're going to have once we get into the season. However, in those scenarios, he could just be running routes anyways. 67% of his snaps are in the slot. He'll also be lined up out wide as well, but he really runs rampant in the slot, running routes, which you want that big body doing, really breaking off routes, posting up on guys, boxing out defenders, and making his hay, getting those targets in the short to intermediate portions of the field. That's where he can be successful. And looking at his collegiate profile here, looking at the draft status, 25th player off the board overall, 6'4", 246. This is from Player Profiler. And again, from Player Profiler, size adjusted, athleticism's there, 70th percentile among tight ends, more than fast enough. 4.68 40-yard dash, more than fast enough to beat linebackers and pull away a little bit. Production's there. Everything's checking out. And look at the volume in the offense. We're looking at 40 passing plays per game, and 13.6% of the targets go to the tight end. That went to Dawson Knox last year and some jabronis. some of that could go to him, and maybe some more. Maybe they want to target the slot more. Maybe they want to use him as the slot receiver. Maybe they want that to happen and have him transition more as a traditional tight end with more receiving production. It's something you want to look at. Most of the time, they have 3 or more wide receivers on the field, but they also like to line up a tight end as well. With him on the field, they can really just put him on the slot, put him in line, really use him as a multifaceted piece as he develops. Right now as a rookie, he's pretty raw. All tight ends coming out from the draft, whether they're a high-end first-round pick or not, they're pretty raw, and they still got some development to do. But if you scheme them up right, allow them to run some routes, give them some opportunity, this could be a match made in heaven for him, and the upside's there. And if he hits the downside, there's no difference between him and some of the other tight ends that you're drafting too, because the position's so wonky from week to week. And you're looking at the value here right now being drafted around the 10th round of drafts. This is when the running back well is starting to dry up. The wide receiver well is pretty dry as well. You want to take shot at tight end. You don't want to pay up. This might be a guy to look at. You also got David Njoku in round 10 of ADP as well. But Dalton Kincaid is in an offense that can really push the needle, give him some volume, and if he hits, he hits. And if he doesn't hit, you would play the waiver wire, and that would be your plan B in this situation. The value's looking pretty good here. You also wait a little bit longer on tight end. That's another thing you do. You either pay up for your tight end, wait around here, get a tight end, get a guy like Kincaid, or wait even longer and just play waivers and play matchups with your tight end. But you need him if you want to capitalize on upside. You want to go cheap on tight end, but you don't want to go too cheap on tight end. You want a tight end that could get you double-digit fantasy points on any given week. He has that potential. He's also a mystery box, and you don't want him because you don't want a mystery box. You don't want a mystery box. You don't need a top tight end. You already drafted one. You're fading, or you're waiting even longer. You want a stream tight end. You don't want a mystery box. You don't want something that you can gamble on. You want something that's consistent, even though you might miss out on a tight end 3, 2, 1, or a guy that can get you good production here and a very good offense that we want to invest in. You still want something consistent, and that's understandable. That is very understandable. You want one of the other positions in this round. You want one of the running backs. You want one of the wide receivers. You're a little bit weak on running back. You're playing hero RB. You got your tight end, or you're really wanting to pound the running back position, get yourself some good handcuffs, get yourself something on the back end of your roster. You want to take advantage of the other portion of the draft. Again, we're not here to sell you on the player. We're here to sell you what can the player be, what are the alternatives, what can you do so you make your best decision. Do you want Dalton Kincaid or do you don't? Do you want something else? That is the goal with the You Need videos. You need them if you want this. You don't need them if you want that. But Dalton Kincaid, very good prospect for fantasy football, especially redraft, especially for dynasty. Draft capital there. Athleticism's there. Opportunity in the offense is going to be there. Fun player to watch. Good pass catcher in an offense with a lot of passing volume. That is something good to see. This offense is very explosive. You want to invest in it. That is something that you need to be thinking about. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Catch you on the next video.